Nothing says Christmas like an amazing prime rib dinner, and prime rib really isn't as hard as you think. Welcome to Glisten's Culinary Delights. I'm Glisten, and today I'm going to show you how to make an amazing, fancy Christmas/New Year's dinner. So if you aren't making my amazing tamales that I put out last week, when the link is here, definitely go and check those out. But if you're not making that and you want to make something a little bit more traditional, a little bit more fancy for Christmas dinner, then this is the video for you. Now, like I said in the very beginning, we're making prime rib today, and it's just an herb prime rib, and it is so yummy, guys. And it isn't as hard as you think it is. So let's get started on our prime rib. All right, so first things first, we're gonna make a butter coating that we're gonna coat our amazing prime rib with, and it is going to make your prime rib delicious, and it's gonna get a nice crust on the outside. So good. First thing we're gonna do is I've got a few ingredients here. So I've got some butter, I've got some garlic that I've minced, and then I've got some oregano, salt, pepper, thyme, and rosemary that we're going to put into our mix. First thing we're gonna wanna do, we're gonna wanna use softened butter, and we're going to just use a fork to kind of spread that butter just a little bit. All right, so we've got that spread out just a little bit. Now I'm gonna add in my ingredients. So like I said before, salt, pepper, thyme, rosemary, oregano, fresh thyme, fresh rosemary, fresh oregano if you've got it. Otherwise, you could just use the powdered stuff. Fresh is always best though, in my opinion. And then garlic, minced garlic. And we're just gonna use our fork and spread that around, mix it up. All right, so this butter is looking amazing. Give you a close-up shot of it. All the little flecks of all the little different herbs in here. It smells delicious, and I am excited. So we're going to get our prime rib now, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with that. Here we have our delicious prime rib, and it is looking great, even though it's just raw. So what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna put this out on your counter, and you're just gonna let it sit for a couple of hours. You want your rib roast to get to room temperature. So I'm going to have this on my counter for a few hours, put our butter aside. You wanna keep your butter softened, so you can keep that on the counter too. All right, so we are back. So we have our prime rib. It's been sitting on the counter for about 2 hours getting to room temp. The next step is to turn your oven on, and you're gonna preheat it to about 500 degrees. Next step you're going to do is you're going to get a cast iron skillet, or if you have a pan that has a rack in it, you can use that as well. And I just like to use my cast iron. And I've got just one full onion that I cut into wedges like this, 1/4-inch wedges, and I've just laid them out in my cast iron pan. Now, the idea of this is once we put our butter on our prime rib, we're going to put this on top of the onions that we have in the pan. Now, the butter is going to get seep down into those onions. It's gonna make a nice little paste, and we're gonna make like an au jus with the leftovers. So that is important, and that is really good. So let's get started with our prime rib. So I've got our prime rib here, and we've just got our butter, and it's all soft. I'm just gonna give it one last little stir. It's got all our herbs and everything, herbs and spices that we put in it. Now what we're going to do, and I'm going to actually turn it over because the fat side is going to go on the facing up. So I'm going to turn it over. Prime rib usually comes with a bone, or sometimes the stores that you get it out will have a bone and it'll be tied onto it. This one I got at Costco, and it doesn't have that, which is not a huge deal. It does give it flavor with the bone, but if you don't have it, then don't worry. So I'm just going to get the butter, and I'm going to just spread it all over our meat on the one side. Then we'll turn it over in our pan and do the other side. Okay, and then you're gonna wanna get the front pieces too, both front and back. Plop it down, and then we'll butter the top. Now, if you wanted, you could trim down some of the fat on your prime rib. I don't like to do it because fat is flavor, and it's delicious. So, all right, and there you have it. Our lovely, delicious prime rib is completely 100% coated with that butter herb mixture, and it's sitting on top of our onions. Our oven is to temp at 500 degrees. I'm going to stick this in there for 15 minutes, and then we're gonna turn it down to 325. Now, how we're gonna measure that temperature is I'm just going to use my trusty thermometer. And I've shared about this before, but this is just an iGrill thermometer. You can just buy it on Amazon or wherever you want to get it. I got mine on Amazon. And so this just takes the temp, and it actually is really cool because there's an app and you can like have it like alert you when things are ready. And it'll even tell you the temperature that your meat should be cooked at. I'm gonna cook ours to 135 to make it medium. And it usually takes about 30 minutes per pound of your meat. And then we'll take it out and make the au jus. All right, everyone, our prime rib is at temp. I'm going to take it out of the oven. So it's looking amazing. I know you're gonna be super tempted to cut into this and taste it, and I don't want you to do that yet. You're gonna wait, let it rest for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will cut it. So I'm just gonna transfer it over to this because we're gonna use the same pan to make our au jus for our prime rib. All right, let's get our au jus going. So you're gonna save about a 1/4 cup of the liquid that was down in the bottom of your pan. And then, this is very simple. Save these onions that are in there because you're gonna need them in your au jus. We can remove them afterwards, or we'll strain it afterwards. First thing we're gonna do is add 2 cups of beef broth to the 1/4 cup of liquid that we already have in our pan. Stir that up, and we're gonna bring that to a boil. All right, at this point, if you have any leftover herbs that you want to add in here, then definitely put them in because it just makes it better. Once it starts to boil, you're going to use your wooden spoon and scrape the bottom of the pan to get off any of those brown bits that are just stuck on there. This is just gonna bring some flavor to your au jus. Now, typically an au jus is liquidy. It's like a dip. If you like it more like a gravy or something like that, you can always add some cornstarch. Now for the cornstarch, before you add that, you're going to want to make a slurry. So I have here about a tablespoon of cornstarch, and I'm just added some water to this cornstarch, and I'm just going to stir it up so that way it's like completely dissolved. And then I'll add in little by little just to thicken it up a little bit. Another thing people like to do with au jus in the prime rib is you can add a little bit of red wine to your au jus if you like. Not necessary, and it's not something that I normally do, but it can be done, and it brings a different flavor to your au jus, and it works well with your red meat. Right, so we're just gonna let this simmer for a few minutes, and then we'll remove it from the heat, and we'll serve up our food and get ready to cut that prime rib. All right, so it's been 15 minutes that our prime rib has been resting. So now it's ready to cut into it. So I'm going to get a close-up on this so you can see the glorious cuts that we're about to make. All right, let's cut into this and check out what it looks like in the inside. Oh yeah, see how juicy that is? Check that out. All right, so let's just give it a taste real quick. Cut off a nice good portion. Holy cow, that's some good meat. 10 out of 10. If you're looking for something to make for Christmas or New Year's and you want to go a little fancy, definitely this is the recipe for you. If you want to do more Mexican traditional, then definitely go over here. You can see my tamale video, or I do have several other videos on my channel that you can go back and look at and make something delicious for your holiday season. I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and I hope to see you again next video. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. And Merry Christmas!